Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Double R Radio, Tejano, and much more. And at this time, it is my pleasure to finally find this guy. Finally, after 20 years, finally, to find this person, Dee Burleson. Good morning, Dee. How you doing?
I'm doing fabulous, my friend, and welcome out. How you doing, man? It's been a long time. I know. But basically, I'm a hermit, but we'll talk about that.
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. I mean, I was on a quest. I'm not. I lit a candle every morning saying, "Today's the day. Today's the day." And amigo, you bring back so many memories. Just so many. But before we go to the memory stuff and everything, how are you doing? You doing all right?
I'm doing fabulous. I'm living up here in Denver, Colorado, and I've been here for the last 12 years, and it's been okay because I'm a hermit, like I said before, and there's no Tejano here, and people don't know who I am or what I did, and it's great. It's nice and peaceful and quiet.
Totally different from being in the mix here in San Antonio 25 years ago, isn't it?
Oh, gosh, yes, man. It got so much that my family couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go out to dinner, go to the movies, because, I hate being a disruption to the people around me that are trying to enjoy their evening. People want to go out and have a good meal, and you've got lots of fans, and I appreciate the fans. The fans made us who we are, and that's true for every single artist out there. But it's kind of, sometimes it's kind of much for the people that are around you, that they're just trying to enjoy their dinner, and it's being upset by rowdy fans and stuff. But you got to take the good with the bad too. Or the bad with the good.
That's right. Now, Dee, before anything else, born and raised where?
Oh, man, born and raised on the west side of San Antonio, man.
Hey!
Culebra and Callahan, that's where I was born. Lived there, until I was about 18 years old before I moved out. But I started playing music at 16. And back then, you know how the races weren't supposed to mix them. The Latinos weren't supposed to talk to the blacks, and the blacks, we didn't hang out with the whites. And you got all those things that, hey, Latinos, they carry knives and guns. You can't hang out with these guys. All that stuff. But then on Friday and Saturday nights, I would hear music from a little cantina down the street. And from there, you were tunda, 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 tunda. So we call it the tunda dance. And I would peek over the fence, and I would see Latinos just having a great time. They're in little backyard parties, and their music's playing, and they're dancing, and they're having a great time. And I'm going, what's wrong with this? There's nothing wrong with this. These people are having. I didn't understand the word alegría until there is no English translation for that feeling, and I love that, and that's how I fell in love with Tejano music, man. And so, that was how I grew up, and I've been in love with it ever since.
What high school did you go to, Dee?
Oliver Wendell Holmes. That's right, buddy.
The Holmes Huskies.
Don't make me sing the alma mater, because I know the fight song. I know the alma mater. But I went to Holmes High School, and I had the great fortune. Ever since I was in 6th grade, I had the great fortune of one person guiding my musical career, and that was Mr. Gary Rosenblatt. And he taught me in beginning music, at the elementary school, and when I went to junior high, he transferred to the junior high school. And so when I got to high school, he managed to transfer to the same. So I had him for 7 years of musical development, and that man taught me so much, and he shaped me into the musician I am today. And so I wanted to say saludos to Gary Rosenblatt and all his students out there.
Dee, now, yes. Refresh my memory. I don't remember ever seeing you perform with an instrument. Do you play any instruments?
Well, in high school, I was for all 4 years of high school, I was all-state trombone player. I played bass trombone. But,
really?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Well, I played bass trombone, and for 5 years I was with the San Antonio Symphony. Because my mentor, which was a great man, Earl Hoffman, when he got sick, I would sit in for him with the San Antonio Symphony every once in a while. And so I have a classical training. I've got the R&B training, and now I've got the Tejano training too.
Wow. Now, Dee, what was the first band that you performed with when you were getting started? Can you remember this?
It was called La Buena Vida.
La Buena Vida.
La Buena Vida. Oh, man. Clint Davila, Juan Lopez, Ernie and Augie and Gary Allen and Jesus Moreno, Faustino Collazo on drums, Richard Hernandez on bass, and Ralph Donias on guitar. And we had a blast. We were playing at the VFW off of WW White Road.
Woo!
Right across from, what's the name of that park that's off of WW White?
Comanche Park?
Comanche Park, yeah. We played, the VFW is right across the street from Comanche Park.
Dee, what year was this?
Oh, gosh, I started playing while I was still in high school, so that was 76. 76 to 78 was La Buena Vida. From there, I went to Patsy Torres' band, which was Blue Harmony. And
Gee, I didn't know this. I did that. Now, that's something you were playing with Blue Harmony?
Oh, gosh, yes. We would open for Little Joe back when they had the super dances, when they first started those. Oh, man. Patsy Torres, let's see, Red Moore played bass. He's the guy that mixed all of Selena's hits. He was a sound man at Manny Music. Joe Martinez on drums. Gosh, Cuco Corrales was our key, sax player. We had several different guitar players, but Larry Mota was a great guitar player. Yeah, back then.
Wow.
Hey, Joe, you want a history lesson? I'll give you the history lesson.
I love it. Man. I did not. I know Patsy very well. We're good friends, and like I said, we talk a lot, and your name has never come up to where you were with Blue Harmony. But Blue Harmony, I mean, you guys were the band back in the day.
Oh, man, back when first they were doing a great disco band because they would play that club off of Wurzbach Road. I forgot the name. It was a big disco club for a long time.
Wurzbach Road, the disco club on Wurzbach.
Yeah, Wurzbach, near I-10 in Wurzbach. I forgot the name. Anyway, yeah, we played all kinds of stuff, and then, but I would sing the male English stuff, so we did all the Kool and the Gang and Earth, Wind and Fire and stuff like that. And Patsy, she was a great partner, man. We had shows. We would do lots of choreography and just lots of singing and harmonies, and it was just a great time.
Now, eventually, you parted ways with Blue Harmony, and what happened from there?
That was, I went to the band LaFrance, LaFrance, which was started by myself, Roger Tamez, and Andy Walker, the three of us. We'd been friends since La Buena Vida because that's where I met them, because, musicians kind of switch in and out. And I met Andy and Roger, and we formed this funk band that just was amazing. It was one of the best times I've ever spent as a musician, and we did all the big events, La Semana Alegre, during La Semana and all those events during the fiesta. We were the band playing at the Market Square on all the big crowd days, and it was just amazing. Lionel Houston on drums, Wyatt McVeigh on keyboards, Tim Johnson on vocals and keyboards, Roger on sax and trumpet and keyboards, Andy on bass, me on trumpet and trombone and percussion, and Bob Merrill on guitar. And we just loved to rock the house. We loved being a great band. But there was a tragic story. There's actually two tragic stories for LaFrance. If you've got the time, do you got the time?
Of course. All right,
first tragic story. We signed with Capitol Records, and they loved our sound, and we recorded an album. And we were going to be Janet Jackson's opening band on her first world tour, which was the Control Tour. And so they gave us the $100,000 advance. We went to the studio and recorded. And our manager, his name was Hillary Johnson, ran off with the $100,000.
Your manager?
Yes, and he disappeared off the face of the earth. And so Capitol could not release our record. It's still sitting on a shelf somewhere in Houston, Texas, at Sunshine Studios.
What year was it, Dee?
That was, 80, so that would have to be 85. Yeah, 1985. Because that's when
I remember when LaFrance did. Now, before we get to your second tragic story, I remember you guys were playing like Correct me here. The Road Apple, the Edge of Town.
Oh God!
Do I got it? Yeah.
Yeah, we played the Road Apple. We played the club called the Bottom Line. We played Scratch when Scratch was around.
Yes, of course.
Oh, we played all the clubs. That was when bands had to be really, really good. All the bands were competing against each other. We were competing against the Max. We were competing against Taxi. There were other great bands, and so we all had this kind of competition, who could outplay who kind of things, because you had to be really good to get into those clubs. And so that was the age of real musicians. We didn't have computers. We didn't have backup dancers and all that stuff. You got up on stage. You had to be able to play good. You had to be able to perform well and relate to the audience and build up the excitement so people would buy drinks at the bar. That's the whole reason they have bands. So people get excited, dance, get tired, get thirsty, drink at the bar. And so that's what clubs loved us. Yes.
Did you ever perform at the Recovery Room?
The Recovery? No, I don't. I'm trying to think. No, not in my memory that I know.
The Recovery Room was on the corner of Medical and Fredericksburg Road. The band of Tobias. Remember Tobias?
Yeah, Tobias. Oh man. Yes. No, back then it wasn't called the Recovery Room back then. It was something with the palm trees. I can't remember but it wasn't called the Recovery Room back then. It was called something else.
What about Club Bawanadik?
Bawanadik on the Riverwalk. That we were the house band for a number of years, and that was a crazy, amazing gig. And do you remember the doorman, Big Willie, who wore the pit helmet and the safari outfit? Great guy.
No, I didn't go there, dude, because I was married at the time, Dee, and that's all I'm going to say, Dee. I don't know what you're talking about. Dee.
Oh, man, Club Bawanadik we were there for like 6 years. We were the house band, and we just loved playing there, and the people that would come in. And we had the dancers. Oh, that's right. You don't know about this, but there were dancers that in the cages that hung from the ceilings. And every once in a while, I would dress up, and they had dancers. And the dancers were women, and they were dude. And every once in a while, I would dance in a cage just for fun. I'd pin together 2 bandanas. That was it, and dance in the cage.
Wow. Now, let me give you one more before we move forward. What about the Heaven Disco? The Heaven Disco.
Oh, Heaven. Oh, wow. Man, I got to blow cobwebs off that memory. Man,
they used to have a band called Apocalypse that would play that.
Yes. Oh, gosh. Man, those were the days. See, now I'm getting all nostalgic. You're making me remember stuff that I'd forgotten about.
Yeah, no, Dee, now let's talk about your second tragedy.
Oh, the second tragedy. Well, after Capitol Records dropped us, we were still shopping for record deals, and we cut a few singles of our own, and we happened to be performing in Atlanta. And this guy saw us perform, and so he got in touch with us later on, a few months later, and said he was new to the music industry, but he was a producer, and he wanted to get some good bands under his stable on his label. And we were kind of like, well, you're young and you're untried. We'll thank you, but we'll pass. And his name was Kenneth Edmonds, but they call him Babyface now. And he wanted to sign us, and we said no. That's the second tragedy.
Why did y'all say no?
Because we didn't know who this guy was. He was, he hadn't had anything out. He was just starting. His first big act was Pebbles, and she became his wife. And then he did stuff with Full Force, The Deal, which was his band, The Deal. And we just, we didn't know anything about this guy, and so we just decided not to take the chance. So that became a tragedy because Babyface is now a household name, and he could have done wonders for us. But hey, we still had a good time.
Well, after what you went through on the first one, and your manager taking up, I mean, who wouldn't be more cautious, Dee?
Well, that's true. We were what they call once bitten, twice shy, or something like that. Yeah.
No doubt, man. I mean, who would not be cautious with that? Now, Dee, let's move forward. What happened with you after LaFrance?
After LaFrance, I worked for American Airlines for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, I was on the phone. Good morning, American Airlines. This is Dee. How can I help you today?
And, a real job, right? A real job.
I know. And for those of you that hold real jobs, I don't envy you guys. I mean, you guys, more power to you. But it ain't for me. And so I couldn't take it, and that's when luck happened on my side. Joe Martinez was the drummer for Blue Harmony, and he was forming a new band, and they didn't have a lead singer. And so he was telling me, "Hey, Dee, you're a great performer. You can do this, but it's in Spanish, And in Blue Harmony, I used to sing some Little Joe songs, La 45 and Las Nubes. So I could learn the Spanish, but I kept going, what? Lead sing and sing Spanish all the time? Yikes, that was a scary proposition. And so for like a month, he kept hounding me, come on, man, just come to one rehearsal. And I said, dude, I don't know, I can't, but he wore me down. And so I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. Went to a rehearsal, and that's where I met Delia, Carlos, and Mike, and Luis Ortiz, and Joe was the drummer.
What a special thing y'all put together with Culturas. I just have these very, very fond memories when you guys would play at T-Town, but you guys would play there on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
We used to have our heavy hitters on Friday and Saturday, but Wednesdays was our local band kind of a thing.
Yep.
And dude, from the first time you played there at T-Town, I mean, you guys were just, everybody embraced you. You exploded, man. Y'all really, really did.
I don't know how to explain it. It was good chemistry. These guys were really welcoming, and they were willing to learn my style of performing, and I was willing to learn their style of music, the Tejano, the real way, and then Tejano, the innovative and let's get creative kind of thing with it. But we could have been called two other names. We were thinking about Cereza, nah. Grupo Látigo, nah. How about Modamex? Nah. We decided on Culturas, and that worked the best.
I remember, Dee, and this is before I got into the whole mix. I was DJing at the little cantinas here and there, and I remember hearing the song Bésame, and I really, really liked it. And lo and behold, I found out like 2 or 3 weeks later that a black man was singing Bésame, and I go, no way, man, this is cool. Because, in a sense, maybe call me naive at the time, I couldn't tell. I couldn't pick up on the voice being directly Mexicano or a black man or a Chinese man, whatever, singing Spanish music. But now, Dee, is it fair to say that Culturas was a popular cover band?
Oh yeah, well, every band is a cover band when they're starting out because they don't have. If you start off trying to play all originals, people get tired of it because they don't know the song. So you start with a 80% mix of covers and 20% of your stuff, and then as you get more popular, then it becomes 70% cover, 30%, and then finally you get to 50-50, and then when you've collected enough hits that people recognize, then you can play originals all night long, and they love you. But you got to start somewhere. So we were a cover band, and then we sprinkled it with some of our own music, and then it just you turn it over. That's the best thing.
I can only imagine how many rehearsals, practices, however you want to put it, because you guys would not only perform on stage, you would put on a show. You guys would put on a show. It was like a lot of choreography to it, but acting it as well. You know what I mean? You would play your parts in a sense, singing certain songs.
Well, every song tells a story, and you have to have a connection with the audience. I mean, bands, excuse me, You're not playing for yourself. You're playing for an audience. The audience has to be engaged. Otherwise, they could have gone to the movies. They could have done anything else. So you've got to be interesting enough to bring people to where you're at. And if they're there, you've got to entertain them because you don't want them to waste their time. You don't want them sitting there being bored. So so when you're on stage, you've got to be worth looking at. And so we developed little skits. Each song had a little choreography, but in between you get to ad-lib, and it's just personality and character. You got to be sassy enough. You got to be able to relate to the audience. You talk to them, they talk to you back, and you get along. You create magic.
Any memories of T-Town?
Oh, gosh. Well, yeah, my memories of T-Town, it was packed beyond capacity because they had a line around the building of people trying to get in. My memories of T-Town, the air conditioning could not handle the heat. People dancing all night long. It got super hot in that place. And then you're on stage and the audience is right there in your face and people having a great, great time. And the thing is, the music didn't stop. As soon as the band stopped, DJ kicks right in with hit after hit after hit. The dance floor was packed all night long. And then when you left at the end of the night, you were soaking wet. That's my memories of T-Town. And it was a blast.
What about the back room?
Oh God! Well, you mean the suite? The suite with the hot tub and what are all those mirrors for, though? I scratch my head and go, gee, there's a lot of mirrors in this place. Oh no, they treated you like royalty. I mean, I know that when Mas came in, or Emilio, or Selena, anybody that came in, people at T-Town treated you like royalty. Man, best times we ever spent.
I remember when you guys shifted right away from a Wednesday band to the weekend band, and one weekend we had you back-to-back on a Friday and Saturday night.
Uh-huh.
That's how popular you were, man. I mean, people ate you up, man. But, you know, Dee, of course, not taking away from the rest of the band, not even Delia, but, Dee, it was kind of like as soon as you hit the stage, people, your eyes wouldn't leave you on what you were going to do next. I mean, you were just full of energy from starting to the end of the night. You just had that energy, man, and you would grab the crowd.
Well, okay, the best way to explain that, I guess, is that if you love what you do, it's not a job. And so for me, it was playtime every night. Any night we played, it was playtime. The stage is the most comfortable place for me to be. I'm horrible out in public and face-to-face with people. I can handle crowds. I can handle thousands of people, but I'm no good at small talk, and I'm no good at interacting with people, so I'm kind of one of those weirdos. That's why I'm a hermit. That's why I don't leave after being on the road for so long, for decades, being at home and being able to watch a movie on a weekend, that is cool. Being able to just have a nice quiet dinner, not be on the road at a restaurant somewhere, that's cool. And being quiet. I don't even have a stereo. Any music I have, if I play it, it'll be through my studio speakers in my studio here. But just the peace and quiet.
Now, Dee, when did Cultura sign with Manny?
We signed with Manny, well, we went to Manny Guerra of Manny Music, and we approached him about wanting to sign a record deal. And his first reaction was, a black guy singing Spanish? No. Latinos aren't going to go for that. No, Mexicanos are not going to go for that. And he kept telling us no. And he said, the music's good, but nah, they're not going to accept a black guy. And so they asked us to open up for the legends, which were Joe Bravo, Jimmy Edward, Sonny Osuna, and who's the fourth? It was Elio Quintanilla at the time. And we were at Randy's Radio on Bandera, and we were the opening band. And so we came out and we did what we do, which was jump out and dance and party and have a good time. And after we got off stage, Manny came up to us, and the first thing he says, guys, even I can be wrong. And he signed us. And for Manny, that's tough. And he signed us right away. And that was that was amazing. And so we were alongside, he had Selena at the time, but he also had Shelly Lares, La Tropa F. Oh, I'm sorry, there was Los Hermanos Farias at the time before they became Tropa F. Elio Quintanilla, Oscar G. It was great working alongside those guys, and that was a great experience. Manny taught us a great deal.
Dee, talk to me about the song Bésame.
Bésame, written by Luis Ortiz, our guitar player, who coincidentally, Luis and I have the same exact birthday, March 4th, 1958. So we both turned 60 years old on Sunday. Luis was in love with Yolanda, his wife, and his proposal to his wife, or his devotion to his wife, and that the song just it sang itself. It's one of those songs that is so pure and so great and so meaningful that it was easy to perform.
It's a beautiful song, and you just nail it, dude. And not only by singing it, also by the way you perform it. You put your heart and soul into it each
song, man. You can't. Like I said, the song sings itself. It's one of those. So I thank Louis for that.
How was your relationship with Delia Gonzalez?
How is it, or how was it? What do you ask?
Well, how was it back in the day with Culturas? How was it? Did y'all get along pretty good and everything?
Yes, we got along fabulously. Delia, when we first started, she wanted to wear skirts and a hat, but you can't dance in those. And I kept saying, you can't dance in that. You can't dance in that. And so she finally started wearing the bustiers and those kind of things when she performed. But she was willing to learn, because a lot of bands at the time, we call them weeble bands. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down, because it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And people want to see a show. And so I said, guys, we can dance during this we can throw a little dance here, throw a little dance there. And because that's how we did it in funk bands, funk and R&B bands. It was always about the show. Earth, Wind and Fire, Parliament Funkadelics, Kool and the Gang, they all would throw shows, the Jacksons. And so I wanted to bring that kind of element to the Tejano industry. And to me, that was just a natural progression. I didn't realize it was going to be like earth-shattering or world-changing. It was just, it was just a way to heighten the show. So with Delia, she was willing to learn, and she's a great dancer. She's a great dancer. She's a great singer, and just a bubbly human being. She is so. We would tease Delia because she was so naive about the rest of the world. She grew up in Crystal City, and so you couldn't do dirty jokes around her. You couldn't. She is just one of the sweetest individuals that you'll ever meet. And so she went from the shy person to being able to command a stage. She would champion. She'd be a champion for women out there. What do you like it? Ladies, how do you like it men? Burro Diaz, that's right.
Dee, I ask you about if y'all got along. Don't get me wrong in that question. I ask you that because y'all's chemistry on stage was just simply awesome.
Well, thank you.
It really was, man. Y'all blended together the way. And what I'm going to do right now is move forward a little bit here from what we're talking about. And I want to talk about your performance at the TTMAS.
Oh, gosh. Those are events.
Who put that together, that performance, that choreography, and the way y'all did y'all's music and then closed off with dun, 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 dun. That was awesome, dude.
Well, the thing is, we all come from different paths. Mikey was a rock and roller. Carlos and Delia loved conjunto music. I was an R&B fanatic. And Andy Bernal was our drummer at the time. Andy was all over the place. But it was just like, well, what's gonna epitomize our personality, our style? And so we just kind of threw it all together. I threw in the dance numbers. Carlos, the keyboard player, that's Delia's husband, he said, well, let's arrange this song to this song to this song. And Louis would want to do something, country kind of thing. And it was just a collaboration. We just all have ideas, and we all respected each other's ideas and say, okay, let's make this work. You said you want to do this? Let's do that. So Mikey said, hey, let's do Smoke on the Water, or Mikey and Carlos said, let's do Smoke on the Water at the end. Dun, dun, dun. I said, okay, good. I can choreograph that. We'll do that. We'll do the spin. We'll jump up, and then we'll do the last motion on our knees.
And dude, I mean, geez, man, you took the show with that. That performance was monstrous, dude.
The best 2.5 minutes on stage. That's the time. They said you can do whatever you want, but you get 2.5 minutes. So we had to try to organize that time. Oh no, I'm sorry. They gave us 5 minutes.
Now let me ask you. Okay, when you're on stage doing that 5 minutes, you come out saying Zapatelia and Zapatele, and y'all start doing this little kick dance right on stage.
Yeah. Well, see, I'd seen that before because I used to, I watch movies and stuff, and when you see the charros when they're with the horses and then they get off with a lasso and they would do the zapatear, and I love that move, so I learned it, and so then I said, well, it's easy, and so we just talked to the guys and they go, oh, this is easy, so.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.
Dee, how much do you think with the band Culturas? Now, I've always said this, and I'll tell you this, and this is no criticism. This is my opinion on Culturas, which I think was awesome. But I've always said that as good as Culturas was, the novelty to Culturas was having a black singer up on stage singing Tejano.
Right.
I mean, nobody else was doing that, Dee. It was only you guys.
Now, there've been people before me because Bobby Butler was El Charro Negro, and he sang with the
during the Cultura time frame. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I mean, nobody else was doing it. Only you guys, and people loved it.
Well, there's not a lot of us around, the black guys that sing and talk in Spanish. So that's the first criteria. But you said the right word. But it was a novelty because, I mean, I love this music and I love it to this day. And I have a radio show on Sundays that I do where I'm promoting Tejano music in Colorado, where there is no Tejano music except in Greeley. The thing is, it was a novelty, and people responded to that, but I knew also that doesn't last forever. You gotta be good and maintain, or there has to be a stopping point at some point. And I know when it was time for me to stop, because you don't ever want to be a joke. You want to be good at what you do, but you don't want to ever be one of those hangers-on that tries to be a star forever. No, it doesn't work like that. So. Yeah.
Did you ever get criticized? As much as you got complimented, did anybody ever criticize you for doing it?
Well, now, it happens to everybody. You can be loved by thousands and thousands and thousands of people, but it's that one person that says something that sticks with you forever. And for me, the night that we played Manny Guerra's The Legends, we opened up, and I went outside, and I was standing by the back door because I was overheated and I wanted to get cool. And this little old lady came up to me, and she said, and I will never forget it, she said, you will never be one of us. No matter how much you try, you'll never be one of us. And that has stuck with me to this day. And I know that was her opinion. I'm not a hater, and I won't criticize her for it. That's just how she felt. But you can be adored by millions of people, but it's that one person that it sticks with you and it bothers you. So yeah, I got criticism sometimes, but you have to take that in stride. You can't please everyone.
That's right.
Some people might just have had a bad day, it's something in their life that they wanted to lash out. Some people felt strongly that, no, man, you don't belong here. So. Because in McAllen, what was the name of that club in McAllen that everybody played? It's the name of a guy. It's not Hernandez. Oh, darn it.
That one I don't know.
Villarreal? The Villarreal?
Okay, yeah, the Villarreal.
Villarreal. Going up to the stage in the back room, backstage, by the stairs, going up going onto the stage, somebody decided to make a drawing, and it's an African bone shaker handle, or a bone shaker kind of maraca looking kind of thing that has a skull on it, and then it says D from Culturas.
Are you serious?
Yes! I thought it was the funniest thing.
Jeez,
but,
I mean, that's what I'm saying. And you're right, D. It doesn't matter how hard you try, what you try doing, you're never going to please everybody, dude. You're
right.
It's not going to happen, man.
But be appreciative of the people that do like what you do. So that's who you do it for. You do it for the fans because they make you or break you. Don't think that you've got all this talent all by yourself. You've got people out there that appreciate the type of music you're doing and the reason you're doing it. And so that's why anytime I perform, I stay to the last fan. If they want an autograph, I stay to the last person gets everything signed because they're the ones they're the most important thing in the world to me.
Amigo, you guys perform at the TTMAS. You win Most Promising Band.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong here. Within a month, Culturas breaks up.
No. What year is that? We were around for, we won, 1992 was the first performance, I believe, for the CTMA. That's where we won Most Promising Band, and Delia won Promising Female Vocalist.
1992.
And then later on, we got the next year we got Show Band of the Year, and we got nominated for something. We were nominated for like several years, but no, we were around for years after that. We didn't break up, and now Culturas didn't break up. I left, and that was me. I had personal issues that were.
What year did you leave, Dee?
Oh gosh, I left in, I think it was either 98 or 2000. So we were together like 6 years.
My memory must be shot then. Because
you got Alzheimer's disease.
I guess so, dude, because like I said, to my recollection, I remember you guys had won Most Promising Band or won an award at the awards, and then somewhere like within a month, there was a breakup there, or there was a parting of ways. But if you're saying it was like 98, 99, then I am totally wrong.
Yeah, because in 98, that's when I went and had Dee Grupo not Valiente, that was just, what was the name of the first band? Because it was Dee Grupo Valiente, and then I did Dee and LaFrance, and then that's where I stopped. So, but now we were together for years. We did lots of, we were on the road constantly. That's how we were able to buy a bus and an 18-wheeler for all the equipment, and we were on the road, buddy.
I know that you guys had also signed with TTMAS Records, right? Was Culturas, or were you just individually signed with TTMAS Records?
That was me. That was me that signed with TTMAS Records and Chris Leak and all those guys.
There you go. Now, getting back to Culturas, what made you part ways with them, Dee?
Oh, that was me having personal issues. It was too much partying and too much. I was wearing myself out. We were doing night after night after night. The hardest thing we ever did, we did 54 days straight. I mean, every single day was play. Sometimes some of those were, I think like 4 of those were twice a day, and that gets exhausting because I would lose 10 pounds in water at each show, and then I have to rehydrate. That's a lot of water to waste, and my clothes were always soaked. But I was wearing myself down, and then after you start drinking and partying, and that just became too much, and it began to be a strain on my marriage, and I had to stop. I had to say, okay, that's just too much. It was for my own health and my own benefit that I needed to stop. I needed to take a break.
You know, Dee, I want to give you a memory that I have of you, and this is a really, really good memory. It's a very good memory because I DJ'd at many, many clubs after T-Town as well, and one club that I DJ'd at was Tejano West. Do you remember Tejano West? Yeah. One night. Military Highway?
Oh, gosh, yes. Okay.
The old Club Dallas. Yeah, now it's Thirsty Horse. Well, let me tell you, Dee, the memory that I have of you, and I'll never forget this, man, it was the end of the night. You had performed. It was the end of the night. Last call for alcohol. Called it out. And you were out there mingling. You were talking to people. and the waitresses were picking up the beer bottles. That was it. 2 o'clock. Man, we got to pick them up. That's it. We're picking them up. And you were talking to a guy, and the waitress goes, "I need that beer bottle, sir." And the guy tells her, "No, I just paid for it. I paid $4. I'm going to drink it." And she goes, "I need that beer bottle." And he was really like, "No, I just paid for it." 2 security showed up, and they looked at the guy like, "There's going to be trouble here." And you intervened, and you told the guy, "Carnal, dude, it's not worth all of this, man. Just give him the beer bottle, because if not, they're going to throw your ass out, and there's going to be trouble over a beer. Come on, dude. Be cool, man." And the guy listened to you, and he gave him the beer, and life went on. I'm sure you don't remember that. I do. You know, I thought that was awesome of you to intervene like that, and you helped avoid a situation.
Wow. Oh, thank you for that memory. You're right. I don't remember, but it sounds like the stuff that I would do. Just like whenever we would play the market square, there's always somebody that's either drunk and rowdy or just wants to spoil the fun for everyone. And when you're down at the market square, it's elbow to elbow people, and you've got one guy raising a ruckus. I would stop the show and I'd just say over the PA, "We need the San Antonio police. We need the San Antonio police right now." And then while we're waiting for the police to get there, I'd get the crowd involved. I'd say, "You guys, we don't want to do it, right? So tell them to get the F out." And the crowd would go, "Get the F out! No, say it louder! Get the F out!" And so it's the crowd taking over because they want the party to continue. And then when the police got there, they would haul them away. And the police would actually thank me. They'd say, "Man, you kept it from being an ugly event where the guy could have tried to fight people, whatever else." In other words, but on the other hand, we made it where he was intimidated and told to get out from where he wasn't wanted. And so I adore the San Antonio Police Department. I love those guys. It's a dangerous job. And I'm sorry, I wanted to be a police officer. If there was nothing else I was going to do, I wanted to be a police officer, and I really kind of missed that calling.
Or worse comes to worse, the singing police officer.
Oh, yeah. "Oh, lady, I'm stopping you for this traffic ticket. You didn't stop at that red light."
You're gonna show up at an incident with your police uniform?
No, because people just think I'm a stripper. He's gonna take the pants off.
Dee, now you're on your own. You leave Culturas. You're doing your own thing. How did it go?
Oh, it actually went very, very well. I was signed with BMG at first, which is called the Big Mexican Gang. Oh, from Germany. We produced the first album, and I got a Facebook post from a lady by the name of Tejano. She and her band, they do one of the songs off of my album, which is Con Golpes de Pecho. And I was like, oh my gosh, first off, it's a tough song to do, and it just surprised me then this morning. So I was like, Tejano Rose, thank you. I want to hear you guys play it. I really do. And after that, I was signed with them for a year because it was myself and Ricardo Castillon we got signed. And then after the year was up, I got signed with Chris Leak and Tejano, Texas Records.
Texas Records. And
we put up 2 albums with them. It was Dee Valiente and then Dee LaFrance. And both, it was good. But people they really wanted the magic of Culturas. And me by myself as the lead singer and not having somebody to bounce that energy back and forth with like Delia, it's a different type of show. And so after a few years, I said, you know what, I think that's enough, and I decided to retire. So I retired on July 4th, 2004. That was my last performance. And I told the guys, okay, guys, that's it, no more. And
was it a hard decision, Dee?
Yeah, it is, because you've got other guys that are depending upon you for their family's welfare. I mean, they've got to put food on the table, and being a musician is tough. And when you get a good gig, you want that gig to last forever because it's security of a type. But when somebody says, okay, the group's over, you've got all these guys going, wow, I've got to get a job somewhere. I've got to put money, put food on the table, pay the bills. So that's the toughest thing. It wasn't about myself that it was agonizing for me. It was agonizing just because I knew that I gave them warning. I gave them enough warning to say, hey, July 4th, that's going to be our last gig. And so I hope I didn't leave anybody in the lurch. I haven't heard any horror stories, so.
Well,
so
I mean, you got to do what you got to do for yourself as well, and that's just what it is. I mean, now, I know that somewhere along the lines I read or saw something where you performed with Delia. I don't know if it was in Las Vegas or in
Las Vegas
or what. Was it Las Vegas?
Chente Barrera called us up and said he was because that was when his album El Taconazo got the Grammy, and he wanted to have a celebration kind of thing, and so he wanted to get together the bands that he admired growing up, because Chente started when he was 16 years old as a drummer in studio. That's amazing. He's one of the most fantastic drummers I've ever met, and now he's a vocalist too. He's always done vocals, but he's a lead singer now. So he credited Culturas, Hugo Guerrero and Bandango USA, Emilio and Ram Herrera. And so all of us came to Las Vegas and performed for Chente. And then he got up and sang. And so he sang with each of the groups, and that was an amazing thing. So Delia and I were happy to do that. That was just an amazing thing. It was an amazing time.
How long had it been since you and Delia had been on stage together?
Oh, gosh, it was like 5 years, because I was already here in Denver. So, yeah, it was like, because it was only like, so 5 years ago would make it 7 years that I've been in Denver. So, yeah, it was like five years, but we hadn't seen or performed with each other. But it fell together just naturally. We knew what to do.
Now, let's talk about today. I saw a flyer you posted where you're going to be performing with Patsy Torres, right?
Yeah, okay. Calle Ses, well, there's going to be, it's called the West Texas Explosion. Calle Ses, Wild Bill Perkins and Calle Ses, they're putting on this big event. And so we're going to be playing with Calle Ses, and I'll be opening and playing Cultura stuff, but Patsy Torres is also going to be there, and she... they asked her, would she sing along with me so we could do the Cultura stuff? Because let me set the record straight right here. Delia right now, a lot of you may know, or some of you don't know, several years back she had to have a kidney transplant because her kidneys were failing. And so her health has been an issue in a lot of the decisions, because they asked us to perform 2 years ago for the cruises, and she just was physically unable to do that, and she feels bad about that. So we just want Delia to be safe, and because she still has to do dialysis every once in a while. So we just want her to be healthy and be safe. And so Patsy said, well, I can do this. I can do it because we performed together before, way back in the 80s. So we're going to be doing that, and that's in July 27th to 28th in Midland. But it's called the West Texas Explosion. It's Calle Ses, Hugo Guerrero, Patsy Torres, and myself. And so people wanted to see Culturas kind of thing one more time. It's just great. I'll be glad to do it.
Dee, what's going on with you today? What are you up to?
I'm retired, bro.
And so you just sit back and just drink your margaritas, or what?
Okay, everybody wants to retire. I will tell you, retirement is the most boring thing in the world, because when you're used to doing things, and all of a sudden that stops, you start looking. First, you relax for like the first 8 or 9 months, and then you get antsy. You gotta do something. I've done traveling because my girlfriend and I, we drive up to Alaska like every other summer, and it's we love to drive. No flying. I love to drive. And but right now, being retired, it's boring. So what I do is I'm a part-time music director for a couple of theater companies, one called Su Teatro, the other one called The Source, and they're local theaters for the Latino community and for the black community. And we put on plays, and I act and sing sometimes, but I work as music director mostly. And then I do the radio show on Sundays with a radio station called Cuvo, KUVO, which is 89.3 in Denver. and it's called Canción Mexicana from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock. And since there is no Tejano in Colorado, we are the main source of Tejano music for people who need to get that Tejano fix. So I love doing the radio show each week. It's a lot of fun, and we have a lot of fun. And then I had a singing catering company, which was kind of weird. My girlfriend Yolanda Ortega, one of my friends Jesse Ogas, and myself, the three of us are all retired, and we're bored. And Jesse is a chef, and Jesse loves to cook. Well, we are all bored, Robert.
We're bored, man.
But Jesse likes to cook, and I said, well, guys, we can cook, and I can teach you guys. We can sing and harmonize. And so what we do is we book a gig, we lay out all the food, and while people dine, we pull out the microphones and we sing for half an hour. And we do everything from Tejano to country to rock and roll and just whatever people want to hear. I do. People love my Louis Armstrong. I see trees of green, red roses too. And then we sing for half an hour, and then we pack up the dishes and we go home. And we never advertised. It was called Encantada Catering, and we were Trio Encantada. And they're good people, good friends of mine, and we just had a blast. And we played for the governor and the mayors and all the heads of state because it was all word of mouth. We never advertised, but people would go, "Gosh, you got to hire these guys." But dude, we're getting old. That's a lot of hauling equipment, trays of food, and sitting up the night before prepping, chopping vegetables, chopping onions and tomatoes and potatoes, and so but we did that for 10 years, and it was a lot of fun. But we just recently decided to give that up. We're just like, that's a lot of work. But like I said, retirement's boring, but you gotta find things to do. So things that I like to do is I like mentoring for young kids that want to sing. They think, oh, you just get up on stage and you sing, and I go, haha. I bring them in the studio and I put them in front of a microphone. And I say, okay, sing along with this track. And they'll pick up their favorite song, and then they'll sing. I'll go, okay, do it again. You're flat. Do it again. You're sharp. Nope, you gotta pronounce the word. And then they start to find out that singing is a lot of work, and you've got to practice, and you have to have discipline. And so I like teaching kids that. And I do it for free. I don't ask anything for it. I wish I'd had that kind of opportunity when I was growing up, because everything we did was kind of trial and error. I'd like kids to learn the right way. This is how you breathe. This is how you sustain a note. This is how you make vibrato. And
could be.
But I mean, you have to give back. You have to give back to the community that you love. So
Amigo, can you remember the last time you performed in San Antonio? I mean, has it been a while? And if worse comes to worse, do you plan to ever come back to San Antonio to perform?
Don't you get that rumor started. I know you. You're going to take a little bit and you're going to blow it out of proportion. I will take, what's the best way to say this? If it happens, it happens. I never say no. That's my biggest weakness. If you ask me, I will always say yes, because I'll make it happen. Because who knows what I will learn? Who knows who I might affect and inspire them to go into the music business and become a success. You never know where opportunity is going to take you. So if people ask, I always say yes. And which is why I'm doing the West Texas Explosion, because I got a phone call and says, "Hey, think you'll come out of retirement to do this?" Okay. So that's how easy it is. So I always say yes. So I don't know. If I'm invited, the answer is always going to be yes.
Amigo, your roots are here in San Antonio. You grew up here in San Antonio. You live in Colorado. Do you miss the comida mexicana from here in San Antonio, or are you getting some of that over there?
Don't get me started, man. Carne guisada. There is no carne guisada in Colorado. You order chicharrón. You want a chicharrón taco? They throw the hard chicharrón in a tortilla. I want the chicharrón with the tomato sauce, and Oh man, there was a place called Mas Tacos. It used to be called Mas Tacos on from Culebra, next to 1604. I would go. I would go jogging in the mornings, and I'd run to Mas Tacos and pick up my tacos. Dude, I miss the food. I miss the humidity. This is the freaking desert out here, man. The air is so dry. If you lay out a sponge is dry in like 5 minutes. It sucks the moisture out of the air.
That's funny, man.
And then snow. Snow! Dude, I'm looking at snow still on the ground from 2 weeks ago. Even though the sun shines on it, it doesn't melt. It's cold. You're asking me, do I miss Texas? Oh, here's the kicker. I miss being able to go tubing down a river. Because all the water all year round is freezing. You'll get hypothermia. In the middle of the summer, if you try to go to the rivers here, you'll get hypothermia. I miss going down an inner tube in the river with an ice chest full of beer. I miss that about Texas. So don't ask me that question. I'll start crying.
Dee, any last words for your fans?
Gosh, any last words?
To end this interview, anything you want to say to your fans right now?
Okay, the one thing I would want to say is thank you. My life has been an interesting ride, and it's all because of the fans. I couldn't have done what I've done if it wasn't for the support of the people that enjoyed the music. And it wasn't just Latinos, because we had gringos that came to the events. We had black people going, I don't know what they're saying, but man, I want to dance that two-step. You know, I just want to say thank you. It has been, and it still is, a wild ride, and I couldn't be more grateful. So that's all I want to say is thank you, thank you, thank you.
Dee, thank you for being part of my morning show.
What is this, an hour and a half? God, it's been almost an hour, dude.
Well, dude, my prom date told me the same thing back in '78, but we're not going to go there, Dee. So. Oh
man! Well, I know what you're going to be doing for the next week. Edit. Thanks, Robert, man. You have a great day, buddy.
You too, amigo.
Thanks, folks.
Robert Rivas Radio, Tejano, and much more.